Admission to hospital can be quite frightening for a person with dementia. Not only are they unwell, but they've been removed from their familiar home and people and admitted to a busy, noisy, unfamiliar place. People with or without dementia can develop sudden confusion due to an illness or other medical causes. This is known as delirium and can also be frightening for many people. Because of their confusion, people with dementia and delirium can be quite fearful and vulnerable when in hospital. The volunteer program is designed to assist these patients by providing both emotional support and practical assistance. The specific types of patients the volunteer will support are patients with existing memory and thinking problems or dementia, patients who experience memory and thinking problems as a result of their illness or operation, patients who are at risk of falls who would benefit from someone sitting with them one-to-one, patients who have poor vision and hearing, patients who require assistance with eating and drinking, or who have special feeding requirements. An essential part of the program is gaining an understanding of the person, their background, personal preferences, and activities or interests that give them enjoyment. This is done through the completion of a personal profile with the patient or their carer. The volunteer role is similar to what a family carer would be doing if their loved one or family member was in hospital. In this way, the volunteer program is very supportive to carers, as they can feel reassured knowing there is someone there to provide extra care to their loved one when they're not there.
I like being a volunteer because I get so much satisfaction out of caring for people. I like the fact that I can come home and I know that I've helped somebody, and when you leave to come home of a night or a morning shift, you know that they've been fed and that they've had plenty of fluid and that you've done a little bit to help make them better.
The volunteers in the program have a specific duty statement. A copy of this is in your handbook, but in summary, these duties include gaining an understanding of the patient's background and family, their personal preferences, and activities they enjoy from either the person themselves or their family, sitting and talking with patients on a one-to-one basis, assisting the patient with eating and drinking, and when needed, regularly offering fluids to drink, assisting the patient with completion of their menus, encouraging patients to walk when it is safe and walking with them when it is safe for the volunteer to do so, supporting the patient with activities they enjoy, such as reading to them, playing cards, and other pastimes, assisting with making the patient comfortable to support their sleep and rest. This may include adjusting pillows or providing warm drinks or giving gentle hand or foot massage, making sure the patient is wearing their glasses and hearing aids, and checking that these are clean and working properly.
When you feel that real need, that the person really needs you, and you can be there for them, and you can actually see them settle down, know that they've eaten a good meal, had a drink, that sort of thing, then you feel that's been a really good session. I like that. Yes.
Volunteers in this program are seen as partners in care and a valued member of the care team. Nursing or allied health staff are responsible for identifying appropriate patients for volunteer care and referring these patients to the program. A referral form is completed by staff. It tells the volunteer the specific support the patient needs, as well as what is safe for the volunteer to do and not do with the patient. The health service you're volunteering for will provide you with information about the procedures for referral at that facility. There is also a communication process between volunteers. This is where volunteers can document their interactions with patients and other information that will assist the next volunteer in their role. When you have completed this training program, you will receive an orientation to the ward or facility and its procedures. You will also receive support by doubling up with an existing volunteer. This will continue until you develop confidence in your new volunteer role.
We've got a new bloke, Bruce McKillop, into our 7-3. He's 72.
Right.
He's got a 2-year history of dementia, lives at home with his wife, gets support from the daughter. And he's come in with a urinary tract infection, so he's got a delirium as well.
Oh, yes.
So I filled out the referral. He really needs fluids pushed, but he's got a history of Parkinson's as well. It's well controlled, but you'll need to make sure he's really sitting up well when he eats and drinks, that's for sure.
Yeah.
As far as we can work out, he's good to walk just with supervision. He's got a 4-wheel walker.
Oh, good, yeah.
He's on a minced moist diet and a mildly thickened fluids diet, and there's plenty of them in the fridge.
Okay.
But over the weekend, he was quite agitated, unfortunately, and pulled his IV out 3 times.
Oh,
so that's
did he?
why we're back to oral fluids. So if we can really push them, and he's on a fluid balance chart, obviously.
Okay.
So the other thing with him is, I know as a lead-in to him, he loves his dog. He's got a little dog at home he absolutely adores. So I think you're an animal lover. You get onto the dog, you'll be right, mate.
Yeah, to keep him busy.
Yeah. So he's been agitated, like he hasn't been at all aggressive in any way.
No.
Just really upset and worried and wanting to leave and,
Oh.
you know, the usual sort of stuff.
Has he got family that will come in?
I think his daughter's coming in this morning, so you might be able to catch up with her and do the personal profile then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Well, I've been to the file and there's 3 other people on the list. There's Mr. Mason. He's in.
Yeah, no, he's okay. Now, he's got a lot better, so he'll probably just need set-up assistance at meals.
Oh, set up.
And he's actually mobilising independently.
All right, yeah.
Mrs. Lee went home, so he can cross her off.
Good. Discharged. I mean, I always like to hear that.
Yeah. And home, which is great. Mr. As a party on surgical, I have a feeling he's going to theatre this morning. You better check with surgical. So I think he'll be nil by mouth, won't need any help with meals. And Mrs. New and her family are bringing her meals in. I think the daughter said she'd be there at meals, but just check. Yeah.
But I can offer her tea and coffee and stuff.
Yeah, that'd be lovely. She's fine with all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Great.
Okay. Thanks very much. And
no worries.
Catch you later.
Before starting as a health service volunteer, you will have undergone a national criminal record check as part of your recruitment. You will be required to undergo additional mandatory education and receive necessary vaccinations. These are requirements for all New South Wales staff and volunteers. You may have completed these requirements before undergoing this training. If not, your volunteer coordinator or the person responsible for the program will arrange these requirements. As a volunteer for the health service, you also have specific rights and responsibilities. A copy of these is in Chapter 1 of your handbook. Health services may require that you sign a specific rights and responsibilities and code of conduct form when you commence as a volunteer. The New South Wales Ministry of Health has a code of conduct. It is a requirement that it is read and signed by all staff and volunteers. Confidentiality and privacy of the patient's personal information is a very important aspect of the volunteer role. The requirements of a volunteer is no different to the requirements for staff. While serving as a health service volunteer, you are responsible for maintaining the privacy and confidentiality of all personal and medical information you are privy to. This can include information involving patients, families, staff, or the general health service business?
Oh, we had a dear little lady who was in and out of hospital. She'd had fractures. She had a fractured hip to start with. And eventually they found a place for her in a nursing home, but it was a constant caring role there. And her daughter really couldn't have managed her at home again.
I go in there feeling 70%. I come out and feeling 170% because I know in some small way, whether I've helped the patient, the carers or the staff, that there's always something there that you can do. And even if it's giving them fluid or making sure they've got their cup of tea or making an extra cup of tea or even getting them an ice cream when they won't eat anything. It's just the little things that you'd like to do if you were in their shoes. And I keep saying that if I was in their shoes, that's what I'd like someone to do for me.
Your contribution to this patient care program is highly valued by the health service. It is hoped that you'll also find your volunteer role very rewarding and fulfilling, as many existing volunteers do. In this chapter, we have covered the structure of the volunteer program, the duties of the volunteer, the types of patients you will be supporting, the referral process, important considerations such as rights, responsibilities, privacy and confidentiality, and the experience of some existing volunteers.